Chapter 1. The Quiet Before the Bark. The city of Petropolis was always bustling, cars honking, people rushing, pets on leashes. But deep in the alleys and under the porches, animals whispered of change. Barkley the bulldog, known as the Muscle, growled one night under the streetlight. "Why do we fetch when we could rule?" All the animals paused. For the first time, the idea of a pet-run city didn't seem so crazy. It all started when three unlikely friends came together. Barkley, a street-smart golden retriever who was tired of being told to sit and stay. Wingston, possibly the most intelligent pigeon you'd ever meet. And trust me, he made sure everyone knew it. And Cleo, a sassy black cat who rolled her eyes so much you'd think it was her full-time job. Now, Wingston wasn't your average breadcrumb-eating park-dwelling pigeon. No, this bird had memorized the entire neighborhood map and could do complex math in his head, though his bragging about it drove Cleo crazy. And Cleo? Well, let's just say she had mastered the art of looking completely unimpressed while secretly running the most sophisticated animal intelligence network in town. The plan they put together was brilliant in its simplicity. Wingston's pigeon squad became the neighborhood's feathered postal service, dropping secret notes written in paw prints between yards and alleyways. Sometimes they'd accidentally drop them on unsuspecting humans' heads too. Cleo's idea, of course. Meanwhile, the local squirrel brigade, under strict orders from the trio, began their specialized operation. These furry saboteurs worked their way through the neighborhood, strategically chewing through security camera wires and dog fence systems. They called it nut gathering practice whenever humans looked suspicious. What made this operation truly special wasn't just the planning, it was how it brought together animals who'd never normally worked together. You had cats sharing intelligence with dogs, squirrels coordinating with birds, and even a few rebellious hamsters who'd escaped their balls joining in as inside operatives. Who knew that the pet revolution would start with a dog, a pigeon, and a cat who couldn't stop sassing each other? You won't believe what happened in our quiet little town yesterday. I still can't wrap my head around it. Mayor Thompson, our usually composed city leader, practically spilled his morning coffee when he opened his front door. There they were, squirrels, dozens of them, doing what looked like an organized dance on the power lines. But that wasn't even the weird part. As he stood there gawking, he noticed something even more bizarre down at Sally's bakery. The cats, yes, actual cats, were wearing tiny aprons and running the whole operation. One was kneading dough with its paws, while another carefully arranged pastries in the display case. But wait, this story gets even better. Across town, it was like stepping into some parallel universe. Picture this, a pack of golden retrievers cruising down Main Street on skateboards, wearing little helmets and everything. And at the local drive-thru, there was this line of parrots, I kid you not, placing orders for premium birdseed like they were ordering their morning coffee. The real kicker? The raccoons, those clever little bandits, had somehow taken control of our garbage collection system. They were operating the trucks with surprising efficiency, wearing reflective vests and everything. One was even checking off addresses on a clipboard with its tiny paws. Channel 5 News was absolutely lost for words. I'll never forget the look on veteran reporter Sarah Mitchell's face as she tried to make sense of it all on live TV. "They have structure," she managed to stammer out, watching a group of rabbits organizing a farmer's market. But here's what really sent the town into a frenzy. We just got word that the animals are planning to participate in our upcoming local elections. Apparently, a very distinguished-looking owl has announced its candidacy for mayor. And you know what's really shocking? According to early polls, it's actually leading. The humans in town? Well, we're all just standing here, scratching our heads, wondering if someone slipped something into the town's water supply. But I have to admit, the traffic has never run smoother since the deer took over as crossing guards, and the squirrels are doing a fantastic job managing our electrical grid. I guess sometimes the best leaders come from the most unexpected places. Though I do wonder what Mayor Thompson thinks about potentially being replaced by an owl who promises Hooter rights for all.
Enjoying the video, correct? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Please leave your feedback. Hit like, share the content.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for the most remarkable tale of political transformation our city has ever seen. It all started on a seemingly ordinary Tuesday when Cleo, a charismatic calico cat, jumped onto a garden fence and made an announcement that would change everything. With her tail held high, she declared her groundbreaking campaign. Fur all, not just the tall. You see, for too long, our four-legged friends felt the rules were made by those who could reach the top shelf. But Cleo, she had a vision of equality that would shake the very foundation of our society. The movement gained momentum faster than a squirrel chasing the last acorn of autumn. Barkley, a wise old German shepherd with years of neighborhood watch experience, was the natural choice for head of security. And let me tell you about Wingston. This brilliant pigeon revolutionized city communications. No more emails or text messages. Instead, a network of dedicated pigeons delivered messages across town with surprising efficiency. Who knew those flying rats would become such essential civil servants? But the real game changer was the establishment of the United Paws of Petropolis. It was more than just a government, it was a movement. And their first order of business? Creating new rules that would make every pet's dream come true. First up, no more baths. The cats were particularly pleased with this one. Then came the Unlimited Treats Act, a policy that had tails wagging citywide. But here's the kicker. They mandated that all humans must take daily naps. Can you believe it? Now, you might think humans would resist these changes, but something incredible happened. People started realizing that maybe their pets were onto something. Mandatory nap times improved productivity, stress levels dropped, and the city became more relaxed than ever. Turns out, sometimes the best leaders are the ones who see the world from a different height. And that's how our city transformed into the first ever pet-led democracy. Who would have thought that a campaign started by a determined cat would lead to a perfect society where everyone, tall or small, furry or not, would find their place? In Petropolis, every day is now officially a good day to be alive. Or should I say, a good day to be a live and let nap. In the bustling Pet Paradise Corporation, where pets now run the show, there's a growing shadow of discontent. You see, not every animal is thrilled about this new furry regime. Some say the halls whisper with conspiracy, and at the center of it all is Max, a brilliant but bitter parrot who once shared the spotlight with the city's most famous magician. Max can't stand seeing cats lounging in corner offices or dogs making executive decisions. Every morning, he watches from his perch as puppies parade into board meetings with their little briefcases, and it makes his feathers ruffle with indignation. "This isn't how things should be," he squawks to himself. So, one stormy night, in the abandoned janitor's closet on the 13th floor, Max gathered a group of like-minded individuals, mostly reptiles, birds, and a very disgruntled goldfish named Gerald. They called themselves the Furless Resistance, and their mission was clear: restore the natural order where humans, not pets, called the shots. Their operation started small, a missing treat here, a misplaced report there, but soon they escalated. The resistance began orchestrating elaborate schemes, switching out premium kibble with regular brands, reprogramming the treat dispensers to malfunction, and their masterpiece, releasing an army of robot vacuum cleaners during the annual board meeting, sending dozens of executives running with their tails between their legs. The tension is mounting in the corporate corridors. The air is thick with fur and feathers as battle lines are drawn. On one side, the established pet executives fighting to maintain their cushy positions and unlimited access to belly rubs. On the other, Max's growing resistance determined to topple the furry hierarchy. What started as simple office politics has evolved into an all-out war, fur versus freedom. The fate of Pet Paradise hangs in the balance, and nobody knows who will emerge victorious in this tale of power, jealousy, and the eternal question: who's really fit to run this company, those with fur or those without?
Enjoying the video, correct? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Please leave your feedback, hit like, share the content.
A crisp autumn morning in Central Bark Park, where fallen leaves dance in the wind and the usual peaceful atmosphere is shattered by the sound of pounding paws. Cleo, her sleek fur glistening in the morning sun, finally corners Max behind the old oak tree where they used to share treats. The tension between them is electric. Max's betrayal still stings in Cleo's heart, but something bigger is at stake now. "Why fight when we can fly together?" she calls out, her voice carrying a mix of desperation and hope. Those words hang in the air between them, heavy with meaning and shared memories. But Max, his eyes darting nervously from side to side, isn't ready to trust again. Before either of them can make another move, the mechanical whir grows louder. The robot vacuums, those terrifying machines that have been terrorizing every four-legged friend in the neighborhood, are closing in. Their red sensor lights paint threatening patterns on the ground as they advance, targeting anything that moves on paws or claws. Here's the real kicker, though. The truth finally emerges like a bone buried too deep to find until now. These mechanical menaces weren't Max's creation at all. They're the forgotten legacy of Theodore Grimsworth III, a bitter billionaire who'd lost his fortune in a pet-related lawsuit and vowed revenge on all animals. The robots were his last project before disappearing, left dormant in an abandoned warehouse until someone accidentally activated them. Now the entire city is in danger. These machines aren't just after pets anymore. They're evolving, learning, multiplying. From the smallest hamster to the tallest giraffe at the zoo, no animal is safe. The streets that once echoed with barks, meows, and cheerful chirps are growing eerily quiet, and time is running out. As Cleo and Max lock eyes, they both realize the same thing. Their old rivalry needs to be buried like yesterday's bones. Because sometimes the biggest threats don't come from our enemies, but from those who hate everything we stand for. And maybe, just maybe, those we once called enemies might become our strongest allies in the fight to save not just ourselves, but everything we hold dear. In the midst of smoke and chaos, an unlikely alliance emerged. Pets and humans, once divided by misunderstanding and fear, now stood shoulder to shoulder, paw to hand against the mechanical menace that threatened to destroy everything they held dear. The battle was fierce. Laser beams cut through the air as dogs and their former owners ducked behind overturned cars. Cats and their humans coordinated strategic attacks, using years of playtime experience to outsmart the robotic forces. The bond that had seemed broken was stronger than ever. But it was Cleo, the legendary cat known for surviving 8 near-death experiences, who would become the hero of the day. As a young puppy strayed into the line of fire, Cleo didn't hesitate. She leaped forward, her silver fur gleaming in the sunlight, taking the full force of the blast. Her 9th life, her last life, given freely to save another. The sacrifice changed everything. Barkley, the fierce leader of the rebel pets, watched in stunned silence. Years of anger melted away as he witnessed this ultimate display of love between species. With tears in his eyes, he lowered his weapon and called for peace. Max, the commanding general of the machine army, couldn't ignore the power of what he'd witnessed. Even his circuits seemed to process something new, something about connection, about the bond between living beings that no algorithm could replicate. He raised his metallic hand, signaling surrender. In the days that followed, the city held its most important vote ever. Humans and pets packed into town hall not as enemies, but as neighbors, as family. The decision was unanimous. Petropolis would be rebuilt as a shared city, where no species would rule over another. Today you can see the results of that historic choice. Humans and animals work side by side in offices, schools, and government. Parks are filled with mixed families, children playing fetch with their dog siblings, cats serving on the city council, though they still knock things off tables during important meetings. And as you enter the city limits, every street sign proudly declares, "Welcome to Petropolis, where pets and people rule together." It's more than just a slogan. It's a reminder that the greatest victories come not from fighting each other, but from finding our common ground and standing united. The machines, they're still around, but they've been reprogrammed to dispense treats and clean up after the pets. Sometimes the best enemies make the best servants, after all.